Peace. My name is IMR, Supreme Super Dimension and Universal Peace, Love, and Happiness. This is a Law World Manifest interviews and things of that nature about the legacy of Law's 5% Nation, historical archives. And without further ado, this is a great queen, my beloved sister, Queen Utopia. Peace. Queen Utopia Supreme. Peace.
Peace.
When did you get when did you get the knowledge of self, Queen Utopia?
Well, I had knowledge of self back when Kudia Lala.
It's good.
Oh. I'm Utopia Supreme, and I got knowledge of self back in 1968.
Okay.
Well, but I got understanding like maybe 72, real understanding of knowledge of self. And I learned that knowledge of self is all about our history as of being the earth, the gods, and the Father, Allah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
When you your brother Righteous,
Yes.
that was the God that brought the knowledge of self home to you?
Yes.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about Righteous?
Well, Righteous, my brother, well, when he was about the age of knowledge, wisdom, and when he was up under the Father, right from the same school, and I used to come around and just watch the God's Father talk to the gods, right here in front of the school, and they would always be all excited about the knowledge that the Father was giving them, and I would stand on the side and witness this. And as a learning mind mathematics, the brothers, they used to always play cards and take my money doing mathematics. That's one thing I do remember. They would always play cards and pity pat or something like that. And they would speak the mathematics that I wasn't aware of at the time. And they would call it off to each other. And I would lose all my money. So I had to stand up and say, hey, be quiet. Because if you keep this up, I'll be broke and what y'all talking about. But I never really caught on until years later, not years later, maybe sooner than that, because I learned mathematics. And that was like, I'm not good with the years of it because I'm at the age now of knowledge, God's understanding. That's my degree.
73.
Yeah. Like I said, they would take my money playing cards and stuff. So I was more interested in this. I noticed that as of now, when I'm teaching or somebody, I don't force knowledge on anyone. They come to me because, I try to live out that life and, I speak mathematics at home sometimes and they were, interested. So now I do have a great-grandson who's very interested and I didn't approach him with it. He just, he's knowledgeable. He wanted my mathematics or anything I can learn and he calls me every now and then because he lives far away. He lives in Schenectady. And he's very inquisitive. He wants, but my daughter, my daughter, she's Tamika Sweat, and she's very, known to the knowledge of God as everybody else in the family. And she was, laid back as far as me giving him the knowledge of self.
Culture.
Right, a culture and the right exact knowledge of self. You have to know the knowledge of self.
What was some of the disciplines of what the nation had taught you, in the early years?
Well, I've always hung out with the gods, and I learned a lot of discipline from them, more so than the earth. Discipline knowing that the earth, carry herself in a certain manner, as far as culture-wise and otherwise. And I don't know what to do.
Doing excellent.
Okay.
Okay, when you got your book of life, the lessons and stuff like that, what are the lessons, the first lessons you got and things of that nature?
Well, I got a set of the original lessons when Father passed them out. Yes, I got that. And I used to stand in front of the school, watch the Father would teach the young guys and everything, and they all excited, and I'm just on the sidelines, listening and everything. And I met Father, Old Man Justice, we used to call him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I used to talk and hang out with him at times. We used to do a little drink on, you know, this and that. But, you know, we were always close. I was more closer to him than I was the father, because I was more shy, just like I'm shy now speaking.
He's queen, he's queen.
Right, you know, so,
Yes. When you got the knowledge yourself, how do you feel about being the queen, you know, the earth, walking and talking black woman on the planet Earth? How do you feel about that?
well, when I say I got understanding, I felt the real enlightenment, you know. I thought, wow, you know, this is all just and true, you know, like nothing that I could ask that couldn't be answered. And with, you know, proof, facts, you know, so I took it like, it was enlightening me so much that I just felt like, hey, I was happy. I was just a happy person after learning knowledge of understanding the knowledge of self. And I learned that nothing but respect.
In the years when you got knowledge yourself, the gods, how did the gods treat you? How did you feel around the true and the living gods?
Well,
Could you explain?
I always was like the big sister to the guards. I'm more or less like had to say, discipline them and say, hey, calm down, chill, you know, because everybody was so excited about getting the knowledge. Some was just outrageous, you know, and like as far as people or, you know, the colored men, they would like, you know, they would speak negative. I said, no, you have this, you have to have some discipline and deal with any and everybody, because that's the knowledge. Knowledge means you can deal with any and everything. It's eternal and it's infinite, you know? So it's just because, hey, we all got different backgrounds and history as far as our culture or our life as far as growing up and you know, just in general. We all got different backgrounds. So the whole thing is you have to learn the discipline of how to deal with all backgrounds, you know, all different types of people, white, black, yellow, brown, or whatever. And that's how, you know, I felt at the time, but it was like, it was an attraction so much that I kept digging deeper and deeper and listening to the brothers who, you know, and when it added up for me, it was like a starlight hit my, you know. That's how,
Okay, some of the being around the firstborns. Well, you've been around a couple of the firstborns.
Yes.
What was that experience?
Well, I've been around justice, no, not just because like I said,
you got Prince.
Right.
You got Black Messiah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, ABG and Colleen and all of them guards. You know, let me see that. See, after Just Allah. Okay. Right, Just Allah. Oh, the first one was like Living Truth and this brother Arlie, and you know, it's a lot of those brothers that was I always remember and always is there, you know.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
What do you, education was always emphasized in the original teachings of Allah's teachings. What impact do you suggest with education for the children of the future?
Well, if they can get hold of the mathematics, the 120, and I think that would be the enlightenment. And I always advise to, even though it's not from our nation, a message to the black man. Once they get to that knowledge and they think they'll see a light, make them understand more. You know, but during my way of learning was when I got to mathematics, I understood, and reading side books and added on knowledge. And I got a lot of that under my belt, you know, as far as add on knowledge, you know, made me understand.
Yes. You do a lot of community work, Queen. Could you explain how it's productive for the 5 percenters also was involved in community work, voting, registration?
Well, I did go in the helicopter with me and Lindsay, and me and Righteous and Just Allah went into the helicopter, and me and Lindsay flew over, you know, and we were trying to get to school as bonded as ours for the years that we had it, you know.
How was that? How was that
It was
experience?
only first and only time that I've ever been in a helicopter. I've never been in one since, you know? And I can't even remember the year, but I think it was something, this was back there. But the father was fighting to get this particular property, you know? And then I remember when he went to Mattawan, you know, I can go back as far as knowing the history of the father when he was assassinated. I remember that. You know, that hurt. But anyway, he used to like say he always walked alone. He didn't want the guards, the young guards following him and stuff.
Peace.
And I, you know, like I had used to deal with the young boys who had, when they got their knowledge, they were so excited that they would do illegal things, you know. And it just was like giving the nation a bad name at the time. But I used to correspond with those who go to jail and, you know, like write them letters and try to keep them uplifted. They were young guards, you know. I was like big sis, like I still am, grandma sis. And, you know, just giving them, you know, enlightenment to, you know, just calm down. Just because the knowledge was so powerful for them, it was like an explosion to their minds. And they were just wow, you know. And I'm God, you know. You know, and it was that kind of an atmosphere at the time when the father was teaching, you know. And like I said, they were always excited about getting the knowledge. It was just like everybody knew more than the next one. You know.
That's beautiful, Queen. Okay, now, what are the ways that a black woman should always carry herself as a queen?
As a queen, she
Yes.
should, well, first of all, she should learn how to cook, you know, do the normal thing, you know, NGT, you know, and you know, as far as wisdom to the God. Well, I never dealt with God having so many wisdoms, you know. But like I said, I always hung out with the gods.
Yeah.
I never really, you know, hung out with the earth until here lately, you know.
Yes.
In my time of life, you know.
Yes.
But
we should always live in supreme understanding, like you were saying. Work with the mathematics every day to be the best human being that we can be,
Right.
and things of that nature, and give back to the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? Family, things of that nature, and stuff. That's what I learned from the history that you gave me. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely appreciate you, all of us. The gods appreciate you, always and forever.
oh, thank you.
Okay, anything else you want to tell us, Queen? We love you. And anything else you want to?
Yes.
Where did you get your name from?
Oh, Utopia, God Universal Jamal, he was one of the ones who was in justice and everything. And I used to correspond with the, and you know, and we built to, you know, he gave me some real understanding to knowledge and stuff. And he went on. You know the Universal Jamal?
Are you older than righteous?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I never knew.
Yeah, that's how I got into the knowledge of myself. Cause
Okay. Okay, Queen. All right. So, okay, you can let us know about your brother Righteous. Okay.
Well, my brother right here, the one that's introduced me to the knowledge and stuff with his young brothers and stuff. They, like I said,